so I already like randomly had gone live and was like, okay, I just asked 2 seconds ago if we could chat. And you said yes. So, because people are probably going to watch this later and then be like, what are you even talking about? I'm going to give my intro of what I think your game is, and then you can correct me on everything.
Sure.
Okay, so I am not even sure like who commented on like the Twitter feed or how I even found out about it, but before I went to visit my family for my dad's picnic. I was already following. I think I might have already been in the Discord. It just kind of like caught my eye because the gameplay looked fun and the characters looked cute. And while I was driving, I was listening to an Eric Nyland book called Hero of Thera, the first one and then part of the second one, which, if people don't know who Eric Nyland is, I don't know who's a reader out there. He is the author of like the first couple Halo books, like the original ones, like Fall of Reach. That's not the only thing he wrote, but that's like the first thing I read from him. And then later I read some of his other books. Anyways, this.
I should have known that, but I don't read at all, so that's why I don't know.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I'm a huge Halo
Well,
fan, but I didn't read any of the books.
Well, you know what's crazy? When Halo Reach came out, oh, I'm going to be off topic, and I told myself it wouldn't be. But when Halo Reach first came out, I had what I thought the plot was going to be in my head because Bungie had, up until that point, said, oh, like these set of books are canon. And what happened in Reach the game was not what happened in the book. And I was like getting so upset. Like, you just can't say it's
I
canon and then have
definitely
it
heard
not be
that.
canon.
Yeah,
And
I
so
definitely heard that.
no. Anyways, he's a great author. So this book, Hero of Thera, is like about this guy who's got framed for a crime, or did he? Who knows? And he like gets visited by a demon. I don't know. It's like gonna get complicated. And the demon like, hey, you can come play this game, kind of. It's like a game, but it's also the real world, and it's like very old, like old traditional RPG. Like we have our classes, blah blah blah. Anyways, so that was like while I was driving, I was like kind of getting more excited about Luminary because I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to like smash my shield, which actually was in it. So there you go, because you start off as a one-handed sword and shield, at least in the demo. Will you? Oh, so
Yep.
question number one: in will all characters start like that?
All characters will start with that starting gear.
Yay!
Um, but we will allow you, like, once we have magic in there, you'll find that pretty early, and the bow
Cool.
will always stay in that first chest as well. So you'll get kind of all three main play styles pretty early on.
Okay, cool. So that's where I am coming from in terms of like my excitement for it and like kind of how I heard about it again. Like I don't even remember. Somebody retweeted something you tweeted, and I was like, oh, that looks
I'm
cute. I'll
definitely
follow that.
mainly on X. So X is definitely where.
Oh, X, whatever. It's Twitter,
Oh
basically.
no, you know what I mean. Tweets, X, whatever. I just mean in the sense that that's my main social program and or social media app, and there's no way you saw me on pretty much anything else. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
That's the only one I really use.
I don't look at anything else either. I mean, I have
Yeah.
like an Instagram, but I can't be bothered. So I actually know the answer to some of these questions, but I can't really just tell someone to go watch the interview from yesterday.
Sure. Yeah. You
But
can
I mean,
react.
I'm going to reference that because I have lots of follow ups. Because I actually wrote my little document. I said I was prepared. I did. I had a 2-page document already made.
Oh.
And then I went through and I'm like, okay, hold on. Got some clarifying questions. Okay. So for the people who don't know and who haven't joined your Discord, because by the way, you can read this story if you join the Discord. How did you two developers meet and what is the story behind the birth of Refractive Entertainment? I said you can read this,
Sure.
but it's also cool to hear from you.
Um, so I'm originally a Hollywood VFX artist. I
So cool.
worked in Hollywood for about a decade, worked on about 40 films there. And I fell into films. I initially had gone to college for game art and design and just through people I knew ended up working in films. So I always wanted to get back to making games. So I left that film studio that I was at. I had worked my way up from from artist to VFX supervisor on set and stuff. So I had gotten as high up in that field as I probably could have ever gotten. So I had already reached where where I wanted to go there, and I still really wasn't happy in that industry. They work you to death. And so it was just time. I had just had my son. He was about 2 now, and it was just like, I'm never home. I need to change this. So I left the film industry and started my own company, Refractive Entertainment. And I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing. I just knew I met a lot of clients that would continue to want to work with me in some fashion. So I started my own company, and it slowly turned into from working in visual effects for them to doing VR content for them to doing VR interactive content with them in games and simulations to working with theme parks and making games for them.
Oh, hold on. Pause and explain the Sea World because I just read that
Okay.
story. I was just like
Yeah, yeah.
looking through Discord actually earlier today, and I saw that. I was like, "What a Sea World!" Like I
So
didn't
that
even
was
know
just
that's something that Sea World would, like contract out.
yeah, same kind of scenario. I had just met enough high up people throughout my career that one of them ended up working for SeaWorld and ended up being the head of their, not even sure what you would call it. But he was the head of their like new marketing slash ventures type thing for the theme park. And so they were doing all kinds of stuff. They were doing games, they were doing VR exhibits, and I did a VR exhibit for them and a game for them. Um, but yeah, it was just through. I've always been a problem solver. People have just, I guess, clients of mine have just known like, hey, Keith will figure this out. Like we don't. He's not known for doing this, but he will put together a team and he will get the job done, whatever it is that we're asking for. So it was always a new project that came my way that I had never done before. And then eventually it started getting hard enough to the point where I needed to bring a coder on to help me. And Matt, who works with me now, who's worked with me for the last 7 or 8 years now, um, he originally worked with me in films at the same studio. And then when I left, he left as well. And he went and joined a game development company. And I went on to start my own company. And I had always remembered in our conversations that he had previously worked on games and previously worked making workshop assets for Dota,
Okay. Oh,
for
hold on.
Steam
I know.
and
Pause. I know nothing about Dota except that, like, I don't. Okay. Do you?
neither do I.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
it's
So
a
hold on.
League of
I
Legends
know.
MOBA
I
type
know.
thing.
I know you're not in my stream, but if Lucent Beam, the name, is actually from Secret of Mana, the Super Nintendo
Uh-huh.
game. It's
Yeah.
Lumina's like Luminary. It's like the one attack spell that the girl gets. But apparently, Dota 2 reused Lucent Beam. So a lot of people think I have played Dota or know anything about it, but I do not. I only heard
Gotcha.
of
Yeah,
Mana.
I don't. I'm terrible. I'm terrible at MOBAs. I didn't even try to get into that one. Um, but he had been doing stuff for them, and I knew that he had done stuff for other games, and then I knew he had gone off and worked at a game company. So I contacted him and was like, "Hey, I'm getting a lot of just random projects from clients asking me to, put together these games, and it's just outside of my coding knowledge. Would you want to come help me with these things?" And he helped me with the project. It went really well. And then I was just like, hey, how much does your salary need to be in order for me to steal you from your current
Oh
company?
my gosh.
so he was just like, it needs to be this. I said, done. And I gave it to him, and he was like, okay. And then he moved, he joined me from that point forward. Um, and so we've been working together from multiple companies for probably 15 years.
Man.
But yeah, we've been working together in my company for the last 8, and we've just always divided up the work that way. I've always done the art and design type stuff, and um, just user experience and kind of figuring how everything needs to work. And he's been my coder guy, just like, I have all this stuff now, all this artwork, all this stuff. It needs to work this way. Make it happen. So, um, That's how we've just always divided things up, and so that's how refractive came to be.
Well, I was going to say in terms of development, who does what, but I think you just answered that.
Yeah, I
So
mean
there you
that's how
go.
we've always broken things up. Like he can definitely do art stuff as well, and can do visual effects type stuff, but it's just there's so much coding stuff to do, especially with Luminary in the game that we're making. It's like any amount of stuff I can take off his plate and handle, I'm just like, you just handle all the coding stuff. Like that way you can it's so much work to do. And there's nothing I can do to help him with it. So
Uh,
I don't know anything about going through thousands of lines of code and adding more and taking out stuff and finding bugs. It's just not going to happen. So I stick to making pretty pictures, and he sticks to dealing with all the code stuff that would make my brain explode.
Speaking of pretty pictures, this is going to be a pretty hard hitting question.
Mm.
On on the Steam page for Luminary, it features 3 characters, and one of them strikingly is similar.
To me, um, yeah, I was just making characters, and I started making one of my dwarf characters, and I was like, well, I mean, I have pictures of me with a beard now, and I was like, it's just gonna end up being me anyway. And
I
then
just on my stream like absolutely blew up that artwork. So we can have a
so
side by
so
side comparison.
nice. So I made so imagine that with no glasses and a gigantic beard. That's what I used to look like probably 10 years ago. Um,
Um,
but yeah, so I was just making characters, and I was like, you know what isn't normally on the cover? A dwarf. It's usually like, some other human character or elf character, but they don't usually have dwarves, present in the front. So I wanted to do that, and I was just like, okay, well, he's just gonna end up looking like me anyway, so I might as well just lean into it because, you know.
um,
But yeah, that's how that came to be.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a bunch of gameplay things, and I
Okay.
do have to preface this with what am I allowed to ask that I may have seen last weekend and this weekend?
You can ask whatever you want, and I'll either avoid the answer or not.
Okay, cool. All right.
The reason you're bringing it up is because you're in the playtest, right? I'm assuming that's what you're
Yes.
talking about.
Yes.
Anything in the
Right.
playtest. Um,
Correct.
I the game comes out in 8 days. There's you can ask anything that you've seen in there.
All right, because one of my questions was you had a closed playtest last weekend. Can I ask some questions? Well, and
Yeah.
actually, and today, so I just got done playing. Like I don't know, I think I was playing for like half an hour, an hour by myself, and then like an hour and a half in co-op. Um, okay, starting way at the beginning, there's currently a demo on Steam that really like showcases the starting area. I hadn't actually played the demo. I almost never play demos for things because
So you jumped right into the playtest, never having played the demo.
no, I don't know. I just don't demos don't really appeal to me. I don't know why. I like to watch like a little clip of gameplay, believe that that's the actual gameplay, and then just play it. So I like almost never download a demo for anything. I actually did download it on my laptop so I could go in and write a review, which is actually what I'm going to ask about. But then it just took too long. So the demo has like very positive reactions to it, despite the fact
Thank God.
that it is small. And actually, I was like trying to read through like what are the meanest comments you got, and the meanest comment is actually the one I didn't save it because who cares? Was like, what was the point of even making this a demo? It's so small. Okay. So my question for
Yeah.
you is, what were you hoping drew players in from that demo, despite that it was like little?
Sure. So I didn't. So here's the thing that a lot of games run into issues with. They make a demo and then they make a separate game. And the issue with that is a lot of times you'll see a lot of negative reviews when that game comes out that says the demo ran so much better. Oh, the demo
Mm-hmm.
had better optimization, whatever it is, right? It's a completely separate build. They literally make a completely separate build. And so I was like, I'm not going to fall into that trap. I'm not going to fall into having this demo and then having a game separate. It's all built directly off that. Like, you've played the playtest. The second
Mm-hmm.
you jump off that first intro island and start
Yep.
gliding towards the main island, that's the end of the demo, right? So, but it's directly from the same build. So there was never going to be an issue with, oh, this ran better in the demo, and
Got
now this
it.
other actually doesn't. So I always wanted to make sure that I had an intro area and I wanted to use that as the demo. Obviously, an intro area to the game can't be that long because otherwise people would get bored. It's an intro area, right? Like, you want to spend like 30 minutes in there at most. So it was always going to be a short demo. And the demo is going to stay up, and its primary focus is like, when you get the demo and you open it up, does it run on your computer how you want it to? And do you like the very basic gameplay that you see here? Do you like the combat? Do you like how the inventory works? It's just enough to show you each mechanic for you to go, okay, I like this. And that's it. Like, that's all it should be. 20 minutes of, oh, I like this, I'll go buy the early access. Or, oh, I don't like this, I won't go buy the early access. It's kind of a squirrel catcher. Squirrel catcher is a term for mountain biking. It's you put in um an easy jump or something like that at the very beginning of the trail. So people go, oh, that's way too big. Because if that's too big, then the jumps later are going to be way too big. So that's kind of what I did with the demo is like, hey, if you don't like this demo, you're not going to like the rest of it going forward. Or if you do like this demo, you are going to like the rest of it going forward. I know that that means, and I see a lot of companies do this, where they take down their demo and they're like, this demo no longer reflects where we're currently at in early access. And I'm like, okay, but so were you not happy with the demo when you released it?
Mm.
Because if you are still happy with it, it doesn't matter whether it reflects the game. If people like it, they'll play it and then they'll buy it. So why are you taking it down? The only reason I can see that you would take it down is that you think people are going to play it and then not buy your game based on either them not liking it or for whatever other reason, or you're okay with them buying into your game without a demo and now run the chance of not liking your game, but you're stoked because you already have their money. Um, I am a firm believer that it is not worth taking somebody's money if they're going to be upset with your product and leave you a bad review. Those bad reviews, especially for indie games, are soul crushing. Like, they can completely destroy
Yeah.
you, especially with the Steam algorithm and stuff. Like, it's not worth it. So I'm a firm believer that even if you're not 100% happy with the demo compared to what your game is, leave it out there, because all it's going to do is, like, somebody who's on the fence of whether they will like it or won't like it, they'll play the demo. And if they were on the fence and they play the demo and they're like, no thanks, then okay. Like, that's somebody who might have bought in and now they would have been more upset because they paid
Mm-hmm.
money to go,
Yeah.
I'm not really into this. And they're going to leave a bad review. It's not worth that. So I think demos should stay up. Um, that's the whole reason for that demo, is to not necessarily persuade people against buying the game, but to let people see, like, hey, is this something you would like? And if you like it, then yeah, buy into it. And it's given us, I mean, great fans. Like, we've gotten super fans just from the demo
Ah, love it.
that, yeah, that are gonna jump into early access and love it. So I know that I already have a fan base going into it that are gonna instantly like um getting into the early access. They've signed up for the Hall of Heroes. They've all done all that kind of stuff just based off of the demo. So, um, yeah, that gave me a lot of confidence going into this release for sure.
Like I said, I'm not much of a demo person, and I do have to say, had I only played the demo, it would have made me very antsy.
Antsy, what do you mean?
Like,
Like, it wouldn't have been
j-
enough?
yeah, just I want to go more. Like, I mean, the first,
But
like,
that,
even
that's
just
that's the idea. Like,
I
because
know.
there there
That's why
are
I can't
people,
do demos, because I
there
just,
are
if
so
it's
many
something
people
that
that
picks
left that
me,
review.
so like it picks me like if I get hooked on something, I like want to go no life it. And I
Well,
mean, I sat
fortunately,
around
there's only
like,
yeah, there's only 8 more days, so if somebody does get hooked on the demo, they can jump right into the early access right after that. For the people who started the demo 6 months ago and then had to wait, yeah,
oh
that's
my
that sucks.
gosh, I would be
But
crying into my
but
pillow
a
at
lot
night.
of yeah, we had a lot of reviews like that that were like, loved everything about it. I'm not happy that it was so short. I want to play more. And it's
But
like,
actually, I
well, that's
mean,
great.
but
Marketing
then
101, leave them wanting more, right?
right? I mean, true, right? And then it's like that little the little hook that you're gonna
Yeah.
keep it on your radar and then get pumped about it. I mean, even when you just said, "Oh, you can play the playtest again." And actually, rewinding to last week, like I think I played like 3 hours by myself, and then we had the codes that we can invite people. I invited two of my friends, and then we had signed off for dinner, and Burb had said to me like, "Oh, I think I'm like gonna go back and play Luminary." It was like, why? There's no real reason to right now. And then, and then like later that night he comes down and he sees me on my computer. He's like, "Are you playing it right now?" I'm like, "Whoopsie." um
I'm glad it's when you're working on your own game and you're in your own little world, you don't know how much content there is for people. Like, is it enough? Like for early access launch, like is this enough for people to be happy, or are they just gonna blow through it and be over it? I'm really happy with the way the playtest has gone. That I've seen people get 3, 4, 5 hours, 10 hours. Some people are into 30 hours. Like it's crazy.
I didn't make
So
it to 30. I think I'm at like
no,
five
only
or
a few people
six.
did that. We only had the playtest up for 40 hours and they logged 27 hours. I was like, this is not even possible. Like you put it down just for long enough to sleep for 7 hours and then you got right back on. That's crazy. But
Okay,
I'm
but then
glad
it
that
meant that
people
they had fun exploring.
I'm happy that people are having that much fun for sure.
So, um, if you had to rank story, combat, and exploration, what order of importance do you, as the dev, think is Luminary's focus?
Exploration is the top.
Whee!
Exploration is the number one thing. Overall co-op fun together and exploring and finding stuff, that's the number one thing. I really built the world to feel like Zelda Breath of the Wild in the sense that it's just open and free and you just go about your gameplay and have fun going all over the place and finding things. So that's number one. Then it's definitely combat. Even though our combat is pretty limited and simple right now, we're going to be adding a lot of different weapon abilities, a bunch of different weapon sets. Each one will have different animation sets and abilities that you can unlock. So that will be a lot of fun. Uh, Hopefully, early access launch is successful, and I can bring somebody in to help me with boss combat and stuff because that is a huge undertaking, and we definitely need to have another person on board to help us with that. Um, and then story is always in the background, but we're not going to have like big quest lines where like they're branching quest lines and giant npc dialogue trees or anything like that. It's going to be much more like um kind of Elden Ring or games where like you'll get a lot of the lore and the story through notes that you find and items that you find. They'll all have little notes attached to them. You'll kind of find out the world about that. There will be NPCs in town that you'll get information from, and there will eventually be small quests that you can get from people in town that will send you throughout as well. Um, they're all going to be world based quests because since we're a co op game, it's not tied to your character. It'll be something that happens in the world. So that way everybody can experience it. And when they drop into the world, if you're in the middle of a quest, they're in the middle of the quest with you. So that's how we'll handle things. We can't get too in depth with branching quest lines and stuff like that because of the fact that we're a co-op game, right? People need to be able to drop in and out in the middle of quests, um, so it can't get too involved with that. But there'll definitely be story and lore added to it for sure as we go on.
For anybody who is later watching this that doesn't know about how Luminary's co-op works, it is a, actually pretty different, I want to say, than most types of games I played. And you had already mentioned the way that it is different is that you have your character, and your character exists, and then it's like your save file, the world you create at a certain tier exists. And currently it's tier 1 and 2. I know you mentioned like in the future like tier 3, 4, 5. I might ask about that later, but the way that it works is that your character, like you select the character you want to be playing, but then your save file is like almost like the not the instance, but it's the world you have created. So if you want to go level up on your character, but you want to go exploring on your own, you can load into whatever solo world you've created. But then if you want to basically like save a world to only explore with a certain friend or a certain friend group, and I think that just
Yep.
is really cool because for me, I would say I loved Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2. I mean, I loved it. I can't really criticize much about it, other than the fact that I wanted to sometimes play on my own. I wanted to sometimes play with my sister. I wanted to sometimes play with my partner. I wanted to sometimes play in a group of 4. And what ended up happening is that I had a different character for every group
Yep.
that I played with, because just kind of like you're saying with the branching quest lines, or
Yep.
like picking up different missions that are tied specifically to your character and your character's progress, there wasn't really an elegant solution like what I believe Luminary has is an elegant solution.
Yeah.
But in
So
something
that
like
was
Borderlands, it was so
yeah.
kind of discouraging because you're stuck doing the kind of same thing over and
Same
over and
missions
over and
over and
over and
over.
over and
Yeah.
over, versus like, oh, I'll just hop into yours, like we can have this shared world in our I can go explore on my own in like my solo world. um Kind of what I just guess I haven't seen another game have it
Yeah.
be divorced
So
like that. So like what
that
kind of
was a
made you
huge
think
thing.
like we can implement this, we can have our world, like our world save file and our character save file? Like I'm just really
It
curious.
was, yeah, it was a huge undertaking for sure. We didn't know whether or not we'd be able to pull it off with just 2 of us.
I
Like,
know,
because
two people.
it definitely is a system. It definitely is a system that you don't even see AAA games do. Um, and it definitely is complicated, and it took us a long time to get it working right. But it was such a cornerstone to how I wanted this game designed. Like I said, like I designed this very much to not only have the art style and the play style of a lot of games that I like, but very much fit my current lifestyle, which is I'm a dad. I don't have a lot of time to play games. And when I do play games, I don't want to have to think of, well, I have my solo character over here and I really want to be leveling that, but my son wants to play over here, and yeah, I guess I could play with him, but then I'm not leveling this solo character that I wanted to, and like I had to find a way to make it that every play experience was progressing the character that I wanted, the way that I wanted, with the type of session, whether it was solo or co-op, that I wanted that night. And it needed to make sure that there was no conflict of, yeah, I want to play this game, but I don't really want to play with that friend group tonight because then we have to play on that, I have to play
I
that
know, I feel the
character. You know what I mean?
pain.
So it was a huge undertaking for us for sure, and I designed everything from the ground up to make sure that that was never a concern anytime you were about to play. And it was never a concern of like, all right, guys, we got to get our party together because we can only play when the 3 of us are together on this map because it's locked in like it is on, like, Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that, right? Where they do have AI take over, but nobody's going to want to come back into the game 3 days later after their friend's been playing and AI's been playing
Right.
and
Like,
taking over their character. So it needed to be that you could play it solo, and so it's the way it's split up is you have your own character. You can have 5 characters, have as many characters as you want. You make a world, and that world is a world save that you can also make solo or co-op whenever you want. And anybody can join in whenever they want, and anybody can leave whenever they want. Um, and I just kept all of that separate. It was a huge. There's a few things that I wanted to make sure that were designed a very specific way, and that system was one of them. I had a very clear vision of exactly how I wanted, and I haven't seen another game do it until I want to say No Rest for the Wicked when it just came out and had their co-op. I believe they do it that way as well. Um, but they came out years after. I mean, that their co-op came out years after we had already started this system. So I really, yeah, I built this. I designed this system in a way that like I hadn't seen any other game do um, until now.
I'm gonna reference Borderlands again just because it was like, I mean, that
Yeah,
was
I
like the
love
most,
Borderlands
that
1 and
was
2. I
like one
played
of the
both.
most
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh, I'm having to
I played it
restart.
with my wife too.
If you joined, say like you had your level 50 character and then you was like, hey friend, come start like play a game with me, and then you're just like annihilating everything. Say you want to be your like your main in
Yeah,
Luminary, and then somebody's like just starting on tier 1. Like what do you have to do
sure.
balance wise to make sure you being the big
The
person
beauty,
doesn't
yeah,
hurt it, like hurt
the
the
beauty
experience?
is that we allow for power leveling. So, one, let's say you did want to play as your level 50 character and they're playing as their level 1 character. Um, you could just decide to take one of your other characters because you might have a bunch of them. You might just play your level 10 character with them until they level up and then switch over to your level 50 character because you're not locked into any character per map. Or you can power level them. So you can say, hey, just like in old MMOs, right? If you wanted to get your friend up to your level, you would go to a dangerous area where you would get more XP per kill and you would kind of try to keep them alive. You would kind of try to keep them protected so that you could level them up a lot quicker. So that's what you would do is you would probably start a tier 3 map and be like, "Okay, stay close by me and you have to be close enough in order to get the XP,
Mm-hmm.
but try to keep them alive and fight a bunch of things and get them leveled up quickly to the level that you want." So you can do it a few different ways. That's how we've decided to do it, rather than have to try to like do any automatic deboosting or
Yeah,
leveling or
I
anything
guess
like
that's what
that.
I was
Yeah,
wondering. Like, is there like a balancing type thing, or whatever
no,
power
yeah,
you are, like in your tier 1 versus your potential tier 5? Like, say I have a super high, like two of us have a super high level character, and we want to just annihilate everything in our path, like brain dead
on tier one.
gameplay. Yeah, on
Yeah,
tier 1, we can just load in on tier 1,
go
and
for it.
there it is. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. You will always be able to load into whatever tier you want. So just there's been plenty of times that I take a character that I have pretty high level because that's the one I'm testing with, and then I just go back to tier 1 and yeah, I just kill everything in one shot. Um, and that's yeah, I mean if that's what the person wants to do and have fun with, then they should be allowed to. I don't want any um experience scaling or anything like that or enemy scaling as you level to where you can't have that fun, I feel like a superhero moment where you go
Mm-hmm.
back to tier 1 and you just mow through everything. I want everybody to play how they want to play. If they want a challenge, they'll go to tier 3. If they want a super casual experience where they're just going around, they're like, hey, this is the game where I'm going to just go around and do a bunch of mining and stuff, and I don't really want to deal with enemies. I want to cut through them pretty quickly because you're going to be able to take your inventory from your character and then drop back into your tier 1 world, right? You just open up a tier 1 map and yeah, you're able to kill everything super easily. You're still able to find a bunch of the resources, take them, put them in your character and in their inventory, hop out of that map, and then hop back into your tier 3 one that you're playing or something.
And I want to comment on like what you're saying, just one shot everything. Um, One thing, again, just because I had listened to this audiobook, I listened to Hero of Thera, and Hero of Thera, when he like starts his demo version of the demo version of the game, he has to, or the trial version, he has to make it from level 1 to 3, and his first encounter's like, I don't know, some zombie skeleton, who knows what, and he's like his
Mm-hmm.
little level 1, he just gets destroyed by the very first little enemy he encounters. If you play Luminary like a Dynasty Warriors game, you will die. You will decease
So
instantly because my
it
first
is, yeah.
experience was I'm like, this is like basic combat. I'll just swipe, 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 and I just like instantly died. I was like, wow, that was embarrassing. Okay, so anyways, I guess I
It
need to
can
dodge. I guess
happen.
I need to use my shield. Oh, I actually have to have a brain cell while I'm playing. Okay, good to know. uh,
So yeah, there has been people that were like, you marketed this as a super casual game, but I'm dying, and it's like, well, it's a casual action RPG, right? Like action RPGs are notoriously hard,
mhm.
where you get killed often. And so I am a casual version of that. I'm not a casual game on its own. You can
Yeah.
certainly get killed, especially if you go into it with zero tactics whatsoever.
Correct. It is not a
If
hack
you
and
kite,
slash.
yeah, if
It's
you
not.
kite one of the goblins away, they're a pretty easy fight one on one in tier one. But if you get surrounded by 6 goblins and you let them all attack you at once, even in tier one, you're gonna die real fast.
Yes.
So it's definitely, you still gotta pay attention. You still gotta, it's definitely an action RPG where you gotta use skill a little bit. And then obviously it gets much more punishing as you go tier two, tier three, where everything does a lot more damage. We'll be adding more enemies. They'll have different they'll have different attack combos and stuff eventually. Like everything will kind of change as you go up in tier eventually.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you all the questions that you said you might not answer, so it is all good. If
Go for it.
someone spent, say, 4 hours straight the first time they logged into the play test, how many hours of gameplay do you think would be waiting for that kind of person in the early access?
Not not too much. Like there's not a whole lot in early access past where we're at in playtest right now. So I don't want people to get super upset. The people that played 30 hours in playtest, I'm like, you guys have probably burned through everything there is to burn through. Like and it's going to be a slow burn as well. Like I said, there's 2 of us, so for us to add content is going to be slow, but fortunately adding content is the easiest thing to do. So really, we've been working a long time on making sure our systems are working and the foundation is really good. And then with success, adding content and bringing on people to help us add content is much easier if you have a really strong foundation to build it on. Content, getting more assets in there, getting more enemies in there, getting more weapons in there, getting more abilities in there, that's just time. And I can bring people in to help me shrink that time down. But the foundation stuff, the coding stuff, that is not just time.
Mm-hmm.
That is making sure everything works really well so that when you bring these other people in, things go smoothly. And that's really what we've been working on leading up to this. So, yes, anybody who's been in the playtest, you have played most of what's going to be in the early access day one. There's going to be a few more things, but not hours and hours of content. Like it's there's just no way we're going to be like Windrose day one early
I don't
access,
even know
right?
what that
Like
is. Not on my
just
radar. Not on my radar.
50-person team, 100-person team, like where they're like, or Subnautica 2, or like these giant where they're like, we've released an early access day one. And it's like, yeah, this is like a full game to most games.
Yeah, well, okay, and actually, that is what I was literally about to ask
Yeah.
next. Is like, what does early access mean for Luminary? Because early access is like sometimes
Yeah.
early access is like it's just the full release, but they just didn't feel like calling it the full release because they wanted
Yeah, they
wiggle
just didn't
room.
feel like doing the bug fixes or something. Exactly.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. That happens with a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like big AA, AAA companies.
Yeah.
But no, we're definitely entering into alpha. So like so basically day one early access launch is us hitting our alpha, where the main core systems are all working. They're at basic level though. So the combat is working, but only a couple enemy types. Weapons are working, but only a couple of weapon types. Abilities are working, but only a couple of abilities. Resources are working, but only a couple of them. All the systems are mainly in place, and they're all relatively bug free. Fortunately, I get to say. Um, but that's where we're at. That's the start of alpha. And then throughout alpha is where we start introducing a lot more content. Each month we'll be putting out more updates. And then maybe after the first year, maybe 9 months to a year, that's where you hit like beta. And beta is like, okay, we pretty much have everything we want in the game. We pretty much have all the systems in the game. They're all running really good. But now we just need to keep polishing, and only adding things that like are content and not going to break anything. That's kind of where you're at in beta. And then you leave beta and you hit 1.0 release. So we'll have a few cool like milestone updates that we get to hit that will be marketing beats throughout early access. And then obviously a big release is when you hit 1.0 release. But some games like you see like Valheim was in early access for 6 years. Power World was in early access for 2.5. I expect that we'll be in early access for at least a year, maybe a year and a half. If we're gigantic and, huge success, and we never want to make a game number 2 because this game is just making so much money and so many people want to play it and they just want to keep us adding to it and adding to it and adding to it, maybe we'll get to, year 2 or 3 in early access. But that's only if like that's only if like the community pushes us to do it. You know what I mean? Like
if
otherwise,
we're thirsty for too much.
if you just keep wanting us to add to the scope, which we would never do with the budget we currently have, but if the game is successful enough to where our budget can grow, then we can start looking into doing that. But based on all the things that we want to do with Luminary right now, I expect to be in early access for about a year and a half.
So these are about to be the specifics that you can just be like, oh, I have no idea. Okay, so you kind of have already.
A pretty one that I probably wouldn't. Whether I should have answered that one or not, maybe I don't know.
No, I think it's. Don't we want to know? Like we want to know. We want to know what we're buying, so we know. Like,
correct.
Again, because some early access might be done, right?
Yeah. Everybody that's in the playtest is typically already part of the Hall of Heroes. They're already planning on buying day 1 or week 1. They're already planning on supporting us. So letting those people know in the playtest that, and nobody else knows what's in the playtest, but everybody else that's in the playtest, let them know like you've experienced a lot of it. They're not going to care. They're going to be happy to support us regardless, and then they're going to, keep supporting us as we keep adding more stuff.
So then again, here's the ones where you can just be like, it's no idea. In terms of like combat and skills, what percent isn't the right amount, I guess. Like compared to what you hope for in full release, this is like truly early, like kind of like trickle out, like perfecting a system and sending it out. So like say we're only talking about the demo, because now I know exactly where the demo cuts off. In the demo, you have access to, well, is the pickaxe a weapon?
You can use it. It is useful.
I'm not hitting the health potion, and I just in combat I'm like surrounded. I whip out that pickaxe. I'm like, no, it's the wrong D-pad.
It does do extra damage against the golem.
Oh, God. No, I haven't done that. Okay, I'm about to go do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it does significantly more damage than a sword but I mean it swings a lot slower. But
okay, but that sounds really fun.
So it is technically a weapon, but I wouldn't count that. I would,
it doesn't level up though, right? Like your other things. Correct. You don't have your pick
yet. Yeah, it doesn't yet. We will have that be a thing.
So
we want everything to level up. But no, that's like sword, single-handed sword, shield, and bow. We're talking, 5% of what I want in there.
Currently, like we have our 2 abilities, the shield bash, and then the I don't even know what it's called, wish around.
We've changed it a few times. It was originally called the crescent slash, but then people were like, oh, but we're like, I keep lunging and stuff like that, and then we changed it to like the lunging crescent or something. I'm not exactly. I think it's. I don't know what it's called. Right, but we'll go through and change a lot of names as we go.
But those are the 2 those are the 2 that are there
that you unlock in the demo.
And it says like something about your bow skill. My bow is only like level 4, even after so many hours. My one-handed sword is level 28. It's fine. And I did not use the Sword of Light at all. So just throwing that out there. I'm not a
Yeah.
dirty cheater like everybody else I
Yup.
know.
30 cheaters.
Well, because I saw, okay, when I invited my co op friend to play and he found the Sword of Light chest and I hadn't, I see, if you're not the host, like you can see their skill pop up right now. And I'm like, you are level 11? I'm level 14 and I've been playing for 4 hours. He's like, well, it's very strong. I'm like, sit down. But there's no, like it says like not available in demo on a bunch of things.
Yeah,
What
yeah, yeah.
amount of those are actually like going to be available in what we're about to play next week, and which ones are just like not there yet?
More abilities will get added every month leading out into stuff. So again, it's still just to get stuff in there, but we will eventually, the way it'll eventually work is every weapon will level up to 20, and every 3 levels you will get a new ability. That is not going to be in day one. But now that we have the system working, we're going to be adding a, so every, I'll put out a roadmap that says kind of what the main things are that we're hitting each month. But throughout those months, we will also be trickling in more abilities per weapon as well.
Would you say then that
So
in both the demo and the playtest that we are abnormally fast in how fast we're gaining our weapon skill?
in the demo, you're much faster.
I haven't even played.
In the playtest in the early access, I think we have it at where we want right now, but we will see how quickly people burn through those 20 levels and see if we have to adjust it.
Well, because you
All of
said
that stuff,
20, but my is my I mean, I'm pretty sure my one-handed sword is like level 20.
yeah, but you will start to get other weapon types and you will start leveling them up. So the reason your one-handed level is so high is
It's the only
because it's the only weapon you have to use,
Well, it's
right?
the only one
Eventually
I
you're going to
want to
have,
use because I've been having fun with it.
yeah. Well, eventually you'll have more weapons to switch between, and so things will generally probably level slower um, when you have more options to work with. Um, but yeah, we might adjust it. I mean, you should assume that the speed of any of the leveling or any of the prices on items or any of that stuff, like we have to kind of figure out what the community gets through when there's
uh,
thousands of people playing. It's so hard to figure out all the number type stuff when there's only like 20 people playing or something,
right,
right?
because even like experience is part of a game's economy, and you don't know how the
Yeah.
economy is going to play out until it is played out.
And I need to see it from so many different types of players. I need to see, is it leveling fast enough for the hardcore players versus the very casual players? I to find that balance. We're not going to probably find that balance. We're going to keep tweaking those numbers all throughout early access, I'm sure, at least for the first 6 months, probably.
So currently, the ones that say like not available in demo, are any of those we will see,
They're not.
or
They're
no,
not.
we're not
They're
yet?
they're sneakily not available in demo, but also not available
Okay.
in the
Well, just
playtest.
because one of like the
Yeah, they just
sword,
don't
I want to
exist.
say like the bow skill looked like it said something different. So I was like, oh, are we getting the bow skill?
Yeah. Oh, so in between, yeah, you will definitely get a bow skill. We'll try to get at least a bow skill ability in there by day one. Because that like we have we just have so many priorities that we're trying to get to, and we only have 8 more days left. So we just have so much. I'm not gonna promise that it's in there by day one, but it'll come in pretty soon after that. But the in between stuff that will also get in there soon after will be like your your bow skill. As you level up your bow skill, your arrow speed will increase. So you'll be able to shoot further. You'll be able to not lead your enemy as much when you're running and stuff because your arrow speed will be a lot faster as you level up in bow.
Ooh, I'm about to
Um,
ask you a bow question, even though it's In section
Go for it.
G. I can't believe I'm so sorry by the way that I just randomly sprung this on you because I realized
How many
54
sections do
minutes
you
have gone.
have?
Well, oh no, we're only on A and I'm going of the gameplay questions and it goes up to I. Look, I've been thinking about this a lot. Okay, so I'm just going to skip down to this one. I was very excited in the playtest just to smack things with my sword, but my partner
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a ranger. But the fact that we didn't have
Mm-hmm.
infinite ammo or infinite arrows early on was like a pretty serious impedition to fully be a ranger in terms of like he's too poor to buy arrows, have resources. So my question, which maybe it hasn't even existed yet, is as you level up your bow ability, do your arrows become no
You
more
so as you
cost
so one
efficient?
as you level up your bow ability, you will so you already get I think it's 30% or 50%. I'm not exactly sure what the number is. I think it's 50%. You already get 50% of your arrows back from the loot that you get from your enemies that you shoot into.
Okay.
But as you level up, you will get that higher. So you'll be able to level up the amount of arrows that you
Oh,
get
okay.
back. And then obviously early game, take the swords and stuff that you find, sell them in town, use that money, buy
To buy
arrows.
arrows. Okay.
Um, yeah.
And you know
Yep,
what? I
it's a
guess
consumable
just
resource.
in terms of why that maybe seemed worse last week was because we couldn't pick everything up in.
Yes.
So that actually like
Um,
so now thinking like okay,
and we
yeah, when you
increased everything. Well, we also increased everything this week, right? We increased the stuff that you find in chests. We increased
I
the
have
loot
been
drop
noticing like
crumbs.
yeah, you're getting a crazy ton of stuff
Yeah,
in chest. So it's like so
yeah.
like
We
today
we
I was up
um
to
we
like
increased everything this
200
week.
whereas last
Hmm.
week, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
But that's why
So,
we do playtests, right? So last
right?
week we found out that we weren't spawning stuff enough, and so this week we made sure that the goblins drop more when they have a higher drop rate now to drop something, and there's more stuff in chests. So you should be finding arrows a lot
I
faster now.
definitely did notice that. Just one pause about the empty chest. I know that like people complained about it, but and I've
It
been
was
probably in
funny.
the absolute minority here. But when I would open a chest and it would be empty, I'd be like, ugh, they weren't stupid enough to leave their loot behind for me. Those sneaky goblins, they
they're
tricked me. So
they're
I guess I didn't
they're
even mind it because it was like that, like throughout the whole
it
time I
is
was
funny,
playing.
like
So I'd be
especially
like,
because like
ah, oh, okay, never mind. There's nothing there.
the chest would be open if there was nothing inside. So sometimes you'd walk right up the chest and the chest would just automatically open because it was just letting you know there ain't nothing in here. Um, but we the way we're going to be handling that right now, it's completely random, and that's why last week there were times where you'd get nothing in it because it's completely random. It would go through all the items. It would give you a random chance of getting each item, and maybe you'd get a bunch, maybe you'd get not enough, but there were too many times where it would land on you didn't get anything, and that wasn't satisfying. So
Well,
we
I was
upped
laughing
that
when I was
across the
doing
board.
it because I'd be like, oh,
We
they.
upped that across the board. Not only did we up it across the board, but if when you start the game, when it goes through and it tracks to figure out what's going to be in what chest, if it lands on 0, it will re-roll and try to add something in there again. So that's you won't ever run into a chest with nothing into it now. But in the future, we are going to have a point pooling system where we will be able to designate a chest like this chest is a mid-tier 100-point chest, and then this other chest is a legendary 1,000-point chest, and a specific sword might be 200 points, right? So a specific sword will never spawn in a mid-tier chest, but it could spawn in this legendary one. But then there's still 800 points left over to fill that chest up with other things. So we'll have a pool, and each item in the game will have a designated value point system, and that way when it goes through and randomizes, it will be able to be like, okay, there's a really good item in this chest, so we're not going to put a bunch of small items in here either, or there's a bunch of little items in here, so it's not going to have a big item in here.
I know.
We'll have it figured out that way, but that won't be in there yet. But that is what we're going to be transitioning our randomized chest loot system over to eventually.
Um, so I know.
You're getting all kinds of like in-depth game dev questions and answers. Most people don't ask
Well,
this kind of stuff.
sorry. Or
No,
not
you're good.
sorry. Um,
And
again,
if I don't have an answer for something, I'll definitely say I don't have an answer for it. But yeah, so far I've already thought through all these things.
they're again, probably not everyone who's going to see this watched the interview with Levistra. So in
Mhm.
your interview on Dragoncast, you mentioned eventually being able to level up to like 80 or beyond. Where are we capped at in early access? Because since you mentioned, like, okay, you have a roadmap of like things you want to add, I would assume from like a development standpoint, like a developer's point of view, you would want us to like every time you add something, want us to want to go check back in. So are we like going to be kind of like throttled level wise so that like as something expands we like see that like, oh, like this month this is going, like let's hop back in and like try to max it out?
No.
Oh,
you will not
okay.
you will not be capped in any way. Now what will happen is like you will in the future unlock weapon abilities as they level up, right? But we
Mm-hmm.
might not have all the abilities in there right now. So you'll continue leveling it up and then one day when we do an update that releases that ability for that weapon or for your luminary, you will just automatically
Oh,
unlock it because we'll read
okay.
that you have already surpassed that level and therefore you will have already unlocked it. So that's what'll happen. You'll go back in to use those new things that we add, but we're not going to level cap.
Even
I
like
want
our
to see
luminary,
what
for people who don't know,
I want to.
you're like
No, I want to see what
your
people can
weapons are
do.
different than your like overall
Yeah,
level. So like
and neither
everything
one of them
individual
are
is
capped. Yeah,
okay.
but be you assign your ability points that you unlock by leveling up your luminary level. I don't know where the threshold is, and I kind of want to see what people do with it. I want to see like how how high does their luminary level get when they've spent 40 hours in the game, 80 hours in the game. Like I need to know that information because I can theoretically figure it out, but I can't put that amount of time
Mm-hmm.
into it either because I need to physically be working on the game. So I need to be hearing from people what their experience is. So I'm not putting any caps in place. I kind of want to see like when does it become, we do have a leveling curve
Mm-hmm.
that like as you get higher in level it's harder to level. When does that become so impossible to get to the next level? Like I don't know what the time it would take to level up from level 40 to level 41. Like I don't how many hours is that? I have no idea. um so we kind of need to find that out through just the community playing.
Is
I
there
kind of
like
want to
right
see
now
what
there's
happens.
just tier 1 and 2? Is like when early access releases, is there going to be like what's the highest tier
Tier 3.
we're playing
um
next week?
We were thinking about rushing tier 3 in there, but I don't want to because I want tier 3 to uniquely look different in the world.
Oh,
So I have to finish designing things. So what I want to happen is I want tier 1 and tier 2 to be relatively the same in the sense that it's just really difficulty and some looks things change with the enemies because I don't want anybody to miss out on content. Then tier 3, I'm still deciding kind of all of what I want to put in there. I don't want to lock anybody out that, wants to see the stuff that's in tier 3 and not be able to, like, I don't want them to not be able to experience it because they can only play fun in tier 1 because they're just not that good of a player or something. So I have to figure that out. But I know visually I want to still do a lot more stuff with tier 3. So I don't want to rush. I don't, you know what I mean? Like if I put it out right now, it would look a lot like tier 2. It would just be a lot harder and give you more XP and stuff. But then people will be like, well, they'll assume that tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, tier 5, they're all going to look exactly the same because that's what they showed. Um,
okay.
if we release tier 3 too early. But if I
Got
make a big update where I show tier 3 looks significantly different, when that update happens, people will be like, "Oh, okay, this is a big jump from tier 2 to tier 3.
Got
I
it.
wonder if we can expect the same from tier 3 to tier 4." And then I can make another update for tier 4. So I don't want them to be all exactly the same. So I'm not going to rush out tier 3. I'm
Okay.
just going to have tier 1 and 2.
In your interview with Levistro, you talked about the choices you made about making Luminary level different from your weapon ability level. Does this also mean that if we're dedicated enough, because like we're not locking ourselves into a character class. Like yes we can pick our race and like our initial stats are different level, like have like less mana or less stamina, but we're not like forced into a traditional like RPG role from our weapons or abilities. Does it mean that if we're dedicated enough and we know life it enough, we can eventually max out all the kinds of abilities that are in the game?
Yes. Yeah, you'll never be locked out of you'll never be locked out of leveling something and getting all of the abilities at all. You will always be able to. Now, whether you'll be able to use them all at the same time, you're not going to be able to do that. You'll have to equip what ability that you want to
Right.
use
Yeah.
in that slot, and we'll have like two abilities per weapon type or two slots per weapon type that you can swap between with Y. You'll be able to do that. So you'll have to assign which ones you want to use, but as far as unlocking them all, you will always be able to unlock everything as long as you put enough time into it.
So, question: did you play the game Defiance? Oh no, you didn't. No, poor little
Uh
Defiance. It had a TV show that went with it.
yes. I well no. So I didn't play the game, but I watched the TV show. That's why I was like, I know this name. I watched the TV show, but I don't think I played the game. Um I do remember when they came out with the game at the same
The
time,
game
or the
actually
game was
really
first. I don't
the
remember. Yeah,
game
the game was
ruined
first.
the game ruined a lot of other games for me actually,
Did it?
because I mean, and
What
I
did you love in there?
oh my gosh, I love that you could do everything. So I actually have a
Yeah.
little like when I was playing Luminary and I was like, wait a second, it kind of was giving me like the vibe of, oh, like I think this little like Defiance. So Defiance had it had like four, like imagine, like in Borderlands you have like your major ability. It had like four major abilities, but it was like the way you leveled up is it had like it called it the ego grid, whatever. And to begin with, you like picked one. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah,
Just imagine
a
like,
skill tree path that you couldn't, yeah, you couldn't go, you had to pick a skill tree path and then you're
well,
on
no,
that skill
this
tree
this
path,
well
right?
the well for in Borderlands, yeah, but like on this
Yeah, yeah.
ego grid, it was like imagine like a square, and within that square, there's like four small four smaller squares surrounded by tons of tiny little squares. So it's like you picked your power, like your ego power, and then you slowly unlocked like all like the mini adjustments to your character. But the reality was that if you played long enough, number one, you could unlock everything on the ego grid, and obviously like certain of those little like unlocks, basically like what you're calling like ability skills associated with that ego ability, but then some other ones were just like fun weird things. But like you could play that, and I did so much that you could unlock everything and really, choose I like this and this. And then on top of that, this is the part that ruined other games for me, is its types of weapons were so weird and interesting, and you could level like each of your weapons leveled up like that. Obviously it's going to be different because obviously in Luminary you have like abilities that go to your weapons, whereas this was just like a shooter, and so it was like all different weird types of guns. But you like early on, you wanted to choose like, okay, I want to use like pistols, so my pistol skill is really high. But if you played, thousands of hours, you could be great with everything. And that's kind of the vibe that I got when playing Luminary, is like, okay, I can have my one character that if I want, I can never make a second character, and I can experience literally
Right.
everything. I can experience every niche, weird build that I want, and I can do it all on my individual.
Yep. And that another thing when you were talking about, well, like, what do you do if you have a really high level character and you want to play with a friend that, just started the game? Pick another weapon type. So
Yeah.
you've
Okay.
leveled up
Love
one
it.
weapon type up to like 20 or 30 or something like that. With this friend, with them just starting, maybe this is a good time for you to go back to tier one with them and use a weapon that you haven't been leveling, and level that up, even though you're using the same character. Um, so yeah, you for sure can level up everything just given put enough time into it, and use every single weapon to level them up. You can't spec into the weapons, you have to physically use them, right? So you will
Mm-hmm.
have to take the time to play with that weapon, and everything just automatically unlocks. So when you hit a next level, that new ability will unlock. You don't have to deal with skill trees or anything like that. It's just that weapon has its own abilities, and as you unlock them, you will find the type of ability that you think fits your playstyle best, and that's going to be the one that you keep equipped probably most of the time. We even have a plan to eventually level up abilities as well. So let's say you use a specific ability a lot, that ability will eventually become level 2, level 3, and it might have a bigger radius and attack for the lunging crescent or something, or the shield bash will have a bigger impact and send them flying further or something as you level shield bash up. So we have plans for that too. We have plans for like everything should level as you are using it, including the abilities.
And one for people who didn't watch yesterday's interview, one kind of cool thing that you had mentioned is like, well, okay, if you played the demo, you know that you can only level up your like you don't have your shield bash until you level up your shield. And how do you level up your shield? You have to use it. Like you don't just
Use it,
magically
yeah.
get a point. You have
Mm-hmm.
to hold it up, you have to actually block with it. Like so you have to successfully block for it to count, or like your health potions, the
Yep.
more health potions you use, like you learn how to be good at health potions. And yesterday you kind of mentioned
Yep.
like that's your plan for like growing immunity to you. The more you get poisoned, the
Yeah,
better
your poison
resistant to
resistance
poison
goes
or
up. Yep.
fire.
The
And
more you've dealt with getting hit by cold things, the more your cold resistance goes up. Um,
so I did kind of
I
think what was
want,
cool that you had said,
yeah,
like, okay, if someone really wants to sit around and stand in like a lava puddle for like 6 hours, I
sure,
like who
yeah,
you're like, I guess go let him stand in the puddle. But
yeah.
if you just want to
I
play
don't.
the game without
Yep.
standing in a puddle for 6 hours, that's an like that's an option too.
Your character should level based on what it is you're doing. So if you are playing a certain way, those weapons will level a certain way because those are the ones you're using. If you're getting hit by, fire all the time, your fire resistance goes up a little bit so that, it makes it a little easier for you, because you're getting burned all the time. Like it's just based on the way that you play is how we're gonna lean into all the leveling stuff. Very it's very little thought goes into it on the player side. They should just be able to sit back and play the game, and we'll handle the leveling for them.
um These are gonna. I would say I promise I'm almost done, but I don't know if I am. It depends on how you answer. Okay, in the
No
playtest,
worries.
like okay, in the demo, you're like in your little starting area, but you can see where you would go. You just die if you try to go there
Yeah,
with our
sure.
little glider. Um, in your dream for Luminary, how many islands are these floating islands? Like
Yeah, we're floating.
how many areas would make your heart happy?
So the bare minimum is finishing that back half to the map that you guys will be playing day one in early access. So finishing the back half of that, that's bare minimum. But I also want to have more floating islands that you can go to, or I mean, I would be doing that, or rebuilding the entire map to be 4 times the size, and then also be adding more islands to it. So it all comes down to kind of how successful we are at early access launch. A lot of people have asked for mounts, for instance, to have mounts and to run around the world or fly around the world with mounts. our current map is too small to really support that. It wouldn't it wouldn't really work gameplay wise. There's too many areas that are a little too tight. There's You'd be able to traverse the land too quickly for how big the map is. But if I have the ability to go in and remake or have hire some people to help me remake the entire map to be 4 times the size, because right now it's a 2 kilometer map. If I make it a 4 kilometer map, it'll be 4 times that.
I know I'm
And then I
probably in
can
the
have more
minority when
floating.
I would say like I'm totally good not riding on a little thing, especially if we
I
can fast travel and like
Correct,
and then
correct,
I mean what do I want to run by? I want to kill everything. I would just get off the mount and I would go kill the everything.
correct.
Like
I'm the same way. I know people are really into mounts. I'm the same way. Everything that I play, I don't use a horse. Like every time they give you a horse, not using it. I'll travel by foot because you're gonna miss stuff. You're gonna miss stuff in the world if you travel too quickly.
well, and if it's your
So
first time
I'm always the same
exploring
way.
it, I don't need to do it. I don't need to run by it.
Yeah.
And if there is a type of fast travel in there, like I could understand if you're like, like some games are like absolutely no fast travel ever. Well, in that case,
Right.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you need like some type of vehicle, otherwise you're gonna have a sad time. But if there's any type of
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
travel,
You'll be able
like
to fast travel to
put
the
that as
towers.
like
Yeah.
the least priority ever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, but increasing the world is definitely something I want to do. Just increasing the world size, but that will come down. That and how many islands I add will come down to how successful we are.
Well, I guess I'm
Um,
saying like for okay, in your mind. Well, hold on. I will ask
Bare
this then.
minimum is the
Well,
bare minimum is
bare
the
minimum
second
for
half of the
what?
map
Bare
that's there,
minimum for
and
like
then
actual like for
no
its
bare
release.
minimum for bare minimum for we release early access. We're not successful. We don't have the money to bring on more people to increase the game. We really just have to stick to the small scope that we started with. That would mean finishing the back half of that map, adding cave systems, some pretty big cave systems that you can go down there, and maybe like 1 or 2 floating islands up above. That's probably like where I would end it. Um, if we're more successful, I can do more stuff.
Um, some games, and I think we already kind of like talked about this. Some games stay in early access for like years and years. What would be for you the determining factor in the future to decide like, okay, I do think this is like
When to call
ready
quits.
to, no, no, like no, when it's ready, no, when it's ready for full, no, the opposite of that question. When
1.0,
it's ready
the
for
1.0
full
release.
release, what is the, what
Uh,
would be like the
the
thing that
community,
pushed you
I guess.
over? Oh, okay.
There's so
You just love on it enough.
yeah, love bomb on enough. We will need So it all comes down to resources, right? Like I said, I've been paying for this full time out of my own savings account, not bringing in a single dime. I've had no income coming in for the last year and a half. Um, we will hopefully make enough money to keep working on. I mean, that seems to be the lowest bar of entry at this point. Like we seem to be doing pretty well in wish list stuff like that, to where like finishing my minimum scope of Luminary seems to be a given at this point. But as far as increasing the scope, like the stuff that I want to do is going to be a year and a half. Like that's like the main scope that I have. But to increase the scope would be to go beyond that year and a half. And that's going to be based on the community. If we keep getting more players in throughout early access that keep buying in and keep helping us fund growing the scope of Luminary, then we could potentially be in early access for longer because they want to see more in the game.
So you would
Because
keep
once
it
you
in
hit
early
1.0,
access longer in terms of like building all the
to
systems
grow the
that you
scope.
want, building all the systems you want to build, but you wouldn't if you said like, okay, when it like on 1.0 it starts with like this one giant island, and then like because you said like
Oh,
making
and
the
then increase
content,
from
and then
there.
like have like, oh, and then like in a couple months here's a new island, because you kind of said like the hard part is making it work, the easy part is once all
Sure.
your systems are in place like expanding.
I think that I will keep expanding it based on being in early access.
Okay, cool.
I don't quote me on this. I haven't made this decision yet. I mean, obviously this is years down the road, but my plan would be that 1.0 release means that all of the stuff that we wanted in the game to call this a finished game, like let's say an old school game, you put it on a disc, you send it out in the world, it's done. There's no more updates,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Well, I would only then plan after 1.0 release to do any fixes that need to happen, but hopefully that would happen long before we got to 1.0. Quality of life things, and maybe just like some fun update things along the way. But really, 1.0 would be saying, this is in a good spot where we don't have to be working on this full time now. We can start working on game number 2. Or we can start, you know what I mean?
Like a
Like
different project.
the goal eventually is to have multiple games under our belt. So I think that we would stay in early access while we're dealing with all scope increasing type things. Um, Again, don't lock me into that. This is
Oh,
me
I
just
know.
thinking
Like
off the
that was
cuff,
like
and
such a
that
far
that
off.
could
It's
that
like
could
a so far off future
that
question, but it's all the things like
yeah
I'm
yeah
thinking
yeah.
about. Like what's
That's
your
me just
dream
mentally
for it?
thinking in my head of what 1.0 is. I think that when a game like Valheim's been in early access for 6 years, right? When they hit
Dang,
1.0, I'm assuming that means they're saying they're
they're
done.
done.
They've
Okay,
they've
okay,
spent
okay.
6 years adding stuff that 1.0 means like it's done. It's a full game. Doesn't mean you can't add stuff to it later, but it would be small things. It probably wouldn't be like you're not adding the amount that you put in like over 6 years into that, right?
Yeah.
Like you would like it's time to move on to another game, I think, at that point. Um, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get there. Who knows? Things might change.
So
Maybe
far
one
off.
maybe 1.0 happens and it's such 1.0 release is such a success that the community drags me and says, "We don't want you to make another game, just make another DLC for 1.0 release or something." I don't know. Who
um.
knows?
Do you? So again, this is like these are questions you might not even be able to answer. Like way off in 1.0. Will our do you anticipate like our character resetting or like keeping whatever we start to build? Because I think about players who were like really far. I mean, people went crazy into early access Pal World, and then some of their saves like they were like, oh, it's gonna work, and then it's like,
Got
nope,
wiped.
never mind. They but and then people are just still playing it like they couldn't have cared less, right? Like I mean, they cared for a
Sure.
moment, and then they were like, actually, I really don't. I don't care. I'll just start over. Like in an RPG
I
where we
I
might
will
get more
never
attached, is it
yeah.
something like? I mean, is
I
this
will
my
never
temporary
do it.
buddy?
Everybody, I will never do it um unless I have to. And the reason being, the only reason I could see it happening, so it happened, we had to do it in the demo at one point. Our demo had been out for like 9 months, and I think like at 6 months in we changed the saving system so drastically that the old character saves were just not going to work. Now, having done that stuff already, I don't think we have to do it again. Will there be, I mean, we might be in early access for years, right? Will there be something that comes across where we're like, there's just no way to add this into the game without it breaking the characters? We're going to have people start a new character. That could happen, but I will never, I, I won't do the thing where like, well, we just want people to start over from the beginning because things have changed so much and we want them to experience, so we're going to force them to. I will never do it because of that reason. I will only
Okay.
do it if it has to happen because things are going to break otherwise. Now, I think because it because it would be because of that, there should be a way for me to have a button in there that says I've made this new character, transfer all the stats, all the inventory from this character that's broken to this new character that works in this new update. That will be a certainly plan of what I would want to do if we ever got to that fork in the
That's
road.
just so. I guess my question was way too hypothetical. But really, you're saying like you're not gonna on purpose be like, well, on
I'm
1.0,
not going to
everybody,
on purpose.
you all have to reset. It'll be more like if you want to. Or I think you mentioned even something like getting up to a high level and then kind of like voluntarily prestiging yourself back
Correct.
down lower.
We'll have those things in place where voluntarily going back down to level 0 will get you additional cosmetics or abilities and stuff. We are going to have that in there. So that would be hopefully what we would have people like. I don't have a problem with somebody becoming super high level. We're not a competitive game. Where it's not like we're a PvP game where if you get super
Right,
high
yeah.
level now you're destroying all the new players that come in. We're a PvE game where you're just playing with your friends. If you want to be level 500 while they're level 1, who cares? It's like the friend might care. They might be like, "Hey man, you should start at level 1." But if you guys can't figure that out amongst yourselves, then you're not very good friends to begin with, I guess.
Gosh.
Like, yeah, you should just have fun playing. If you have a super high level character and you want to keep playing that super high level character and never respec, and you should be allowed to.
All right, I swear I'm almost done. Like really, it's like these are fake questions now. All right.
My wife is definitely yelling at me for
Oh God,
this.
I'm so
I
sorry.
heard her yell at me for
Okay,
this.
then these will be the fastest questions ever. In your interview with Lavisha on Dragoncast, you mentioned that you use some assets, but that you designed the characters yourself. So no pressure, but what are the chances that you will be adding a hairstyle and character creation that features a high side ponytail with waves or curls and potentially side swept bangs with face framing features?
Can you please send me an image of this? Because I have no idea any of the words you just said.
A high side ponytail, like we're from the 80s, but like not from the 80s. Okay. All right. I saved, you know what? Just in case you asked that, I have 3 pictures saved on my laptop. Okay. And then my final, my final one is not a question, but a comment that I hope your game only gets 99,999 wish lists. So you just all have to pay full price.
Well, it is it's already at 10% off because we hit 50,000.
No, we should make it 10. We should do like 10% increase. Increase our buy-in. Yeah, 10% price increase.
You have to pay more. If you don't hit 100,000 wish lists, you have to pay additional money in order to get the game.
No, I guess I'm just saying, like, I already think it says it's listed as 20. Like, for the, if I went to the movies,
oh, $20. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
If I went to the movies, which only lasts for, like 3 hours and plus my snacks, I'm paying more than $20. I kid you not. I just okay, I know we made fun of me about the shop, but I was just so distracted. First of all, the sound effects. Oh my gosh. I love oh, I gotta go exploring. I just wish the best for your game. It definitely got its claws in me. And thank you for just randomly talking to me for an hour and a half. And please tell your wife I'm so sorry.
No problem. I mean, to follow your question, yeah, we did release it cheaper than most games. I think we're probably going to end up being the cheapest co-op ARPG out there on Steam, probably. $20 is probably pretty cheap for that kind of game. But we are a 2-person team. I have ran things very lean. It doesn't take as much for me to be successful as a big company. I think for me to break even on everything I've put into it so far is about 20,000 units sold. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for in the first month. If that happens, then awesome. Everything went according to plan. If it doesn't happen, then that's terrible. I failed miserably and I have to rethink everything going forward.
No. Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
So far things are going well. I hope for the best. Yeah, our game is cheaper, but hopefully because we're co-op, that means that more people will buy in because they'll tell their friends. They'll be like, "Oh, it's only $20. Sure, I'll buy in and play with you." That's.
Well, I already think that the 2 little people I because you gave us those codes. I'm like, oh, come play. I mean, I think they're gonna come play with me because Cool. Okay, I'm just gonna keep yapping, so I'll let you go. Thank you so much for chatting with me because I was so I had this whole document typed up.
You asked questions that most people do not want to get into the weeds on or even think about. So it was very interesting chat.
Okay,
you probably got me to say some things I probably shouldn't have. Maybe I shouldn't have locked myself into anything because
Oh,
now
I don't
it's
think. No, I
traumatizing me
think you
already.
have. I think you have the door wide open. Door's wide
Okay.
open. The world's your oyster. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you again so much, and you'll see me in Discord. No life in your game.
Yeah. Thank you for being
Okay.
around.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, y'all, I'm such a nerd. I cannot believe he agreed to actually chat with me. That's so cool. So, by the way, if you guys don't know, because I mean, like, yeah, I'm just a little yapper over here. But I had so many questions, especially because coming from the playtest, I wanted to know what to expect. This is what we have been talking about. What am I doing? Luminary on Steam. Try the demo. Literally. Oh, look, that's him right there. This is like this is a Steam page. You can get boop boop boop. So cute. Look how cute that. Where'd you just go, computer? I need to control this. Early access. I think I need to expand what this is showing. Because right now it's like showing the smallest amounts of things. Coming soon to early access. It's coming August 11th, which I think was a troll because that's my first day back at work. It's my first day of school. It's like, look, I'm not saying I'm easily amused. But you know what I like to do? Like, I like to play, chill, turn most of my brain off, and just have fun. And it sounds like that's the angle that he's coming from as a developer. Like, he just wants people to have a fun thing to play together with with each other. If you want to no life it, go ahead and no life it. If you want to, like make it super hard for you, make it super hard and like jump into a higher world level and get your booty kicked, or make it super easy by playing a ton. Um, Look at that. Yes. Oh, you can't see. Oh, here it is. Okay. So, balanced ARPG light, solo or with friends. Honestly, I had fun with both. I had fun with both. I and okay, I didn't get a chance to say this, but like super compliment if he maybe he's gonna watch this later. The little sound effects, like there's definitely like this guy knows what he's doing because you hear the sound of a chest and I'm like, I gotta go find it. Or like off in the distance, I see the purple tree, like as you interact with the tree and you turn it white, and you're like, I gotta go there. But along my way, wait, Did I hear a chest? Oh, did I hear a little gnome? Like you just had fun. I just, I don't know, I had a great little time. Was swimming a little bit. Um. Anyways, it was super fun. Super fun. See, this is what I was saying right here. See this one? It said wishlist milestone. That's why I said I hope you only get hope you only get 99,999 wish lists because it's already so inexpensive. Like however much you decide to play. Now I know not everyone is going to sit around and play 4 freaking hours in the one day, which is what I had done first time I logged in. Um, and that was in essentially said like what we played in the playtest is going to be really similar to what early access is. And even if like just to begin with, you just explore everything that's there and you fight everything that's there, that's worth $20. If they decided like, we're bored, we don't want to actually do any of this other stuff, I don't care. I had a good time. I'll go play it as I played as like a human, and then I was like, oh, I'll make my little. There's a little Fae character. She's so tiny. And I was like, oh, I want to make a giant. I'll make a freaking giant. Anyways, I don't know. It's like my not a cozy game, obviously, because it's an ARPG, but it has the possibility to be. You're just like, look, he's saying simplify it more so it's more straightforward and intuitive. Yeah, like I think that's what he was going for when he talked about like being able, like, I have my character, I can level up everything. I'm not putting myself down a path where I'm locking myself out of choices. Like, I get to do whatever I want to do. I want to use the bow forever and struggle like a baby because I suck at it. I can do that. Anyways, I had a great time. Anybody who hung out and watched this, I'm definitely going to save this as a VOD so then people can watch it later. I was not super reading chat. Sorry, Burb, because I had my document open. But I feel like I have a much better idea of, number one, what to expect in terms of what we're seeing in early access, and then in terms of like what he views the future as it goes forward. Like, I mean, it's a good product. I was having fun. Like, I was having fun. That's all I care about. Okay, peace. I'm gonna go eat, and maybe